Cheeseburger.
Right, there's an article here on Fight Sports TV, which I'll leave that link in the description box as always, so have a read of it yourself. And Bob Arum said that ERROL Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford can happen anytime ERROL Spence is ready. In other words, we're ready, Terence Crawford's ready, we're waiting on you. Now, as we know, ERROL Spence Jr., he has played the whole, I'm on this side of the fence, you're with Top Rank, I'm a Showtime fighter, so therefore you need to come to me. Which, first of all, is ridiculous. Okay, now I'm an ERROL Spence fan, but that's a ridiculous thing to say because when you're a PBC fighter, you are not contractually obliged to fight on Showtime. You can fight on anywhere, literally any network that you want. That was the whole thing that Al Heyman set up. So there's no restraints as to you must fight on this network and therefore you can't fight others. That was the whole point of it, that he didn't tie anybody down to any kind of deal where they must fight on Showtime. It's preferable from Al Heyman's point of view that they fight on Showtime, but it's not contractually obliged. They don't have to do it. Okay, so ERROL Spence doing that, that's just a roadblock, and that's a duck. I'm sorry, but that is a duck. As I said, I like ERROL Spence, but that is a blatant duck. If you're hiding behind Showtime, when there is no wall for Showtime, you can go and fight on ESPN, you can go fight on HBO, you can go fight wherever the hell you want. You can go fight on the Cartoon Network, okay? Nobody can stop you from doing this, Errol, okay? Anyway, a lot of people I've been seeing over the past few weeks blaming Bob Arum. So Bob Arum, he tied Terence Crawford down to a contract, which means that Crawford can only fight on ESPN now, on Top Rank shows. So there is a real block. Well, that's not true at all, because I said this a while ago that Bob Arum, he's always been willing to let his fighters fight on other networks when called for. It's not a problem. If the deal is better for his fighter, he will work in the best interest of his fighter. If his fighter is going to get more money or more exposure, whatever it may be, to fight on somebody else's platform, then that's what they'll do. Golden Boy have the same thing. So I don't understand why PBC fighters like ERROL Spence Jr. will say, well, you have to come to me. Why? What difference does it make? You're getting in a ring in your own country. Who cares who airs it, right? Who cares, really? But anyway, this is what Bob Arum has said about ERROL Spence. Spence, the genius, said, well, we're on one side of the street, he's on the other side. That's a guy that don't want to fight Crawford. Anytime he's ready to fight Crawford, we'll make the fight. We'll make it happen. Eventually, I think I'll be able to make a Spence fight because the money will be so big and we'll be reasonable and we'll share things and everything. I'm not going to play games anymore. I mean, we have a real trust that we've been given by ESPN and not be boxing schmucks anymore, to put on real events in boxing for the public. And if that means sharing or doing a deal, we're prepared to do that. Nobody wants selfishness anymore. That is Bob Arum's statement. So as I said, have a look, a little read of it in the description box there. So again, he's saying that, listen, we can put on the fight on the ESPN, okay? We'll make it pay-per-view and you'll earn a whole crap load of money, okay? We're not blocking anything. Okay, but if you really want to fight on Showtime, again, it's not a problem. We can share it, as in Crawford will have all the money generated from a ESPN pay-per-view, and you have all the money from a Showtime pay-per-view, or vice versa, or just whatever it may be. We'll just split the difference 50-50 or come to some kind of arrangement. So he's saying that there's no reason why this fight can't happen. So the only people who are actually making this fight impossible is ERROL Spence Jr. Now, it's weird for me as well that the fan base is as well. And again, I really don't want to come across as disrespectful, okay, but it seems that a lot of people have one standard for one and a lesser standard for another, because we know that a lot of Spence fans are actually Crawford fans, and a lot of Crawford fans are also Spence fans, okay? We know that, but there does seem to be a bit of a shift at the minute. Now, when ERROL Spence, when he beat Kell Brook, controversially, well, not controversially, he did beat him, but I mean, it was from a British perspective, it was a terrible ending. But no matter what, I always said that the winner of Kell Brook and ERROL Spence Jr. will be, in my mind, number one in the 147-pound division, the welterweight. And I stick by that. So I believe that ERROL Spence Jr. is the best at 147 currently, unless proven otherwise. Now, of course, this was before Terence Crawford was put into 147. As of right now, we don't know how good he's going to be. So far, the signs are looking pretty good. I mean, he beat Jeff Horn, an undefeated fighter who was an absolute brutal fighter. Okay, he will come forward. He's not afraid to get hit and will throw bombs himself and play dirty if necessary. Okay, and next fight, he's going to be taking on Jose Benavidez Jr. Terence Crawford versus Jose Benavidez Jr. Benavidez Jr. is excellent. He's a very, very skillful, strong fighter. For me, and again, it's just my opinion, I believe Benavidez Jr. will be Terence Crawford's toughest fight to date. It's arguable, for sure, but he is an undefeated fighter. And was it 25, 26 and 0 or something like that? And he doesn't have like too many miles on the clock either. He's hungry and he wants to become the world champion. So, anyway, when Errol Spence Jr. he defeats Kell Brook, he becomes an IBF world champion, and what does he do? The very first name he calls out is Danny Garcia. I'm like, fantastic. This is what I want to hear from a champion. Okay, I've got my belt. I want to unify, or I want to fight whoever it is that is considered a top fighter. I don't want to be fighting the lesser end of the table. I want to be fighting the top end of the table. Okay, I want to be dining with the kings. That's what I want. And Errol Spence Jr. was giving all those vibes, and I was thinking, yes, this could be the man. He could be the one to take over from Floyd Mayweather. He could become the next big thing, the next pay-per-view star, or whatever it may be. There's no reason why not. Well, the carnival is, which I will get into in a bit. But I was happy that he was calling out these guys, and he wanted Keith Thurman. Okay, he wanted these other champions. Not a problem. Fantastic. And all the fans, the Errol Spence fans and that as well, saying, yeah, see, this is the guy he wants to fight. Errol Spence Jr. is the man. And we have to agree with that, right? Because he's saying all the right things. So Keith Thurman, he seems a little bit sheepish about fighting Errol Spence Jr. So what does everybody do? Keith Thurman is ducking Errol Spence Jr. Okay, and listen, that's a fair comment. But ultimately, Keith Thurman has beaten Sean Porter. He has beaten Danny Garcia. He's defended his belts against these guys and unified. Errol Spence Jr. has yet to do that. Okay, so he won the belt and he's had two fights. Okay, Lamont Peterson and Campo. So, are these guys better fights than Sean Porter and a Danny Garcia? No, of course they're not. Now, I'm not pouring cold water on Errol Spence Jr.'s record, not at all. I think that he's going about his business the right way, or has been so far. But it seems that a lot of people will say, well, Errol Spence Jr., he should be fighting Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman don't want any of that smoke, so therefore Keith Thurman is ducking. How dare Keith Thurman do that? Now Sean Porter just gets the belt, the WBC title, after Keith Thurman had to vacate it. Well, Sean Porter must fight Errol Spence Jr. because Errol Spence Jr. says so. But yet he's only just won the belt. Why is he not allowed to defend it? Why must he go against Errol Spence Jr.? Why? Why straight away is what I'm asking you. Why did Keith Thurman have to unify the belts and then must fight Errol Spence Jr. next? If not, he's a duck. But yet, Terence Crawford, he gets the belt. Terence Crawford says to Errol Spence, hey, let's do it, no problem. Errol Spence says, no. I'm on my side of the street, you're on your side of the street. And what do the Errol Spence fans say? What do the Terence Crawford fans say? Okay, we'll wait. But yet, Sean Porter doesn't have to wait. Keith Thurman doesn't have to wait. But yet, it's okay to wait for Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. Why can't they fight now? How much bigger is this fight going to be, really? This is not going to be a Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. So we'll go back to one of the points that I raised earlier on, that could one of these guys be the replacement for Floyd Mayweather? Potentially they could be, but it's unlikely because neither one of them have the personality to do that. Neither one of them do. Errol Spence Jr., he is a little bit vocal. Now, Terence Crawford, he can do this. He just chooses not to. I mean, Terence Crawford has got that dog in him, and he's got that aggression, and he's got the gift of the gab. He just chooses not to do it. He's more like, whatever. But to become a next star, you need that gift of the gab, and neither one of them are doing it. So therefore, this fight is never going to be as big as a Mayweather-Pacquiao. It's just not. So how much bigger is this fight going to be? Well, if we wait, this fight's going to be huge. No, how much bigger is this fight going to be in a year's time or 2 years' time compared to what it is now? It isn't it? This is a blatant, I'm hiding behind Showtime. And there's no reason to hide behind Showtime because that fence is weak. One little push and the fence goes down. It's very simple. You're not contracted to be there. You don't have to. And Bob Arum saying, even though you can come to ESPN and there's no blocks there, we are willing to share network if necessary. So Errol Spence. So why is it that Sean Porter must fight Errol Spence or Sean Porter's a ducker? Why is it that Keith Thurman must fight Errol Spence or he's a ducker? But yeah, Errol Spence doesn't have to fight Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford doesn't have to fight Errol Spence. Let's wait. Let's build that fight. No. If you're going to hold Sean Porter's feet to the fire when he's only just won the title, if you're going to hold Keith Thurman's feet to the fire when he not only had the WBA title and then unified against Danny Garcia right after beating Sean Porter himself, if you're going to hold his feet to the fire, why are you not holding Errol Spence? It doesn't make sense to me. You can't criticise others for not fighting Errol Spence Jr. when Errol Spence Jr. doesn't want to fight Terence Crawford. And he doesn't want to fight him. He doesn't. And everything that I'm hearing and seeing is that Bob Arum, Top Rank, and Terence Crawford are like, let's do it. Okay? We've got Jose Benavidez Jr. next, okay? You go fight whoever, or don't fight anybody, but straight after Benavidez, let's do it. What's stopping you from doing it? And what Errol Spence fans say? No, it's got to be Sean Porter. It's got to be Keith Thurman. Why? Why really? Why can't Sean Porter and Keith Thurman fight and Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford fight? Then the winners fight each other. Isn't that what everybody wants? Undisputed? But there again, where did Manny Pacquiao fit into this? So there's a lot of unanswered questions. It's just that if you're going to hold the feet of Sean Porter and Keith Thurman and every other fight on the planet to the fire, then you've got to be doing it the same with Errol Spence Jr. Surely. And I know people don't like hearing that, but all the signs are that Terence Crawford is open to fight Errol Spence Jr. There's no reason why not. But Errol Spence Jr. is hiding behind that very weak wall, which is Showtime. It doesn't have to be on Showtime at all. What difference does it make what camera is pointing at you? If it's a different country, fair enough. If there's a problem with the state, fair enough. Okay, you can work something out. But as far as which camera is pointing at you, does it really matter? Does it? And from a fan's point of view, well, it's going to be pay-per-view anyway. So what difference does it make if it's on pay-per-view ESPN or pay-per-view HBO or Showtime or the Cartoon Network or the Sci-Fi Channel? What difference does it really make what camera is pointing at the ring when you're fighting? In reality, it doesn't. So Bob Arum, he's open to make the fight. He said this. And if he goes back on that, we'll have a go at Bob Arum. But it's simple. Errol Spence Jr., stop hiding behind the Showtime thing. And all Errol Spence Jr. fans, listen, I'm a fan of his too. And I'll still stand by that. I believe that if Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight, I'll probably favour Errol Spence Jr. But I'm neutral in this. It doesn't matter to me who wins. It doesn't matter whatsoever. Who cares what network it's on? Sean Porter shouldn't have to be the one to fight Errol Spence. Keith Thurman shouldn't have to be the one to fight Errol Spence. When you guys go, okay, we'll wait for Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Why? No reason, is there really? Anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours, click that thumbs up and subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.